100 years ago, this town was the richest town in the world. Also 100 years ago, all these buildings were built with imported materials.
Today we are visiting Kolmanskop before we travel on to Sossusvlei. We spent the night in a nice little motel with secure parking. So yesterday we drove from our campsite over here through that dam wall that was spilling, and then we went west to Luderitz. It's a real old German town. We're off to Kolmanskop. The town of Kolmanskop.
1908, two people were here at the very same time. It was a Mr. August Stauch and a Mr. Zacharias Liwala. Now, Mr. August Stauch, he was sent here by the then German colonial government as a railway supervisor. So the railway had been built by 1908. Mr. Zacharias Liwala, he had previously worked in Kimberley, South Africa, for the biggest diamond mine there. So he's the one that knew what a raw diamond looked like. Now, Mr. Stauch was very interested in minerals. So he asked all the general workers to look for nice looking rocks. If they found something, they should bring it to him. He would reward them with a cup of lemonade or a cigarette. I don't know what the arrangement was, but I do presume that there was one. This is when Mr. Zacharias Liwala picks up a diamond, takes it to Mr. August Stauch, who tests the rock. And lo and behold, it was a diamond. Now this is where the story gets interesting. Because Mr. August Stauch then kept quiet. He did not tell a soul. All he started doing was he started buying up most of the mining rights in that area. And that made him a very rich man. Mr. Zacharias Liwala, nothing else was written about him in our history books. We would like to presume that because he knew what a raw diamond looked like, that he went back to the area, picked up a few more, and then rode off into the sunset. All presumptions, as we do not know what happened to him. So 2 months later, in May of 1908, diamond fever officially erupts in the Kolmanskop area. In the first 4 years of mining in the Kolmanskop area alone, they mined 5.5 million carats worth of diamonds, amounting to 20% of the world's diamond population.
Sure.
The method that was used for mining, simple. 80 men lying on their stomachs, cloth bound by the mouth, just picking up diamonds from the surface of the earth.
Wow.
They said that if you stood in the mining area and there was a full moon, was like a whole city lit up under your feet. The diamonds that were found here were just alluvial diamonds. So diamonds that were washed up by a current. We believe that many, many hundreds of years ago, this whole area was under the sea. The area the diamonds were found in, it's in a valley. And we know diamonds tend to collect at the lowest point. The production in Kolmanskop, that only comes to an end in 1938. 100 years ago, this town was the richest town in the world. Also 100 years ago, all these buildings were built with imported materials. I'm talking about doors, windows, floors that came from Italy, and sand from Germany. Because apparently we did not have enough sand. No, the reason for that was because the sand from this area is very salty and it corrodes easily. So the houses that were later on built for married people and the school, those houses and school were built with sand and material from here, and they're not structurally sound. Another reason that the people also did not want to leave was because they were technologically advanced. 100 years ago in Kolmanskop, every household had electricity and a telephone. While in Europe, people were still using gas lamps. There were telephones, but not for private use. So that's why they did not want to leave. But by 1956, most of the families had gradually moved away. Some went to Ludritz to go start businesses. That's why there's a big German community there. Others went back to Europe. So in 1956, the doctors here, they don't have any more work. They closed the hospital. And that is when the last 2-3 families that still remained here had to pack up and leave because water was imported. Water came via boat all the way from Cape Town. 1,000 tons of fresh water each month. That meant every house only had a seawater tap. You did everything with the seawater. You even bathed. It's just for your final rinse, cooking and drinking that you would use fresh water. So that is why in 1956 everyone packed up and left. Because they were not going to bring water here in that manner for just 2-3 families that still remained here. So this town only existed 50 years. At its peak, 300 people stayed here, 44 school children, and 800 workers that worked and stayed in the mine. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are found in the Sperrgebied area today without a permit, it's 100,000 Namibian dollar fine and 10 years imprisonment. The building at the far end, that was the baker's house. Next to the baker's house, you found the bakery. Next to the bakery was the soda and the lemonade factory. In this building on the corner where Mr. Augustau's house was Mr. Augustau's house where the tree is. So the small train, that was not a train, that was Africa's first tram. That tram was pulled by 6 donkeys. It ran by all the houses in Kolmanskop. And every morning from 6 o'clock, that tram would deliver to your house for free 6 buns from the bakery, crate of soda, crate of lemonade, block of ice, and 20 liters of fresh water for the day. And the ladies used it as a taxi service. That building, the casino building, that was the last building that was erected here in Kolmanskop. That was in 1927. That building was constructed in Germany and it was sent here by a boat. This was the house of the chief engineer. Behind his house you see 2 structures. One is around cement dam where fresh water was stored, and then a corrugated tank where they stored seawater. This building with the 4 doors, that was the post office. And this big house over here, the quartermaster's house. This quartermaster was in charge of entertainment. So if you came to Kolmanskop to entertain the people, you'd stay with the quartermaster. His house was the bed and breakfast of this town. The small house over there that looks like it's falling apart, that was the principal's house, and that is the only house we ask you not to go into. That's one of the houses that was built with sand and material from here, not structurally sound.
Well, that was really, really interesting. We're now on the road to Sossusvlei and we'll see how far we get. we've been driving for about 6 hours. We did about 400 kilometers on dirt and 100 kilometers on tar. And we are staying, we're the only campers. There's a shower block. We're the only campers in a lodge. Quite a lot of guests apparently. Tomorrow we're going to the beautiful sausage flare and dead flare. We're really looking forward to that, and I hope you'll join us and watch the next video.